Hey, everybody. Welcome to another Weekly Wisdom. This week, we're back with another 10 minutes supporting your inclusive workplace culture. Specifically today, we're going to talk about how employee resource groups help create a more inclusive workplace culture. Listen, it's no secret that employee resource groups are a powerful tool in any workplace's toolkit when seeking to create a more inclusive workplace culture. And I don't mean to use the word tool without acknowledging the incredible effort that these employee resource group leaders and members are engaging in order to make employee resource groups possible. They are people who should be recognized and honored for the work that they do, not just because it feels good to have employee resource groups, but also because we know based off of years of research that employee resource groups can help build community, can help create spaces where people feel more included and like they belong within a workplace. So let us not understate how powerful they can be. And specifically today, I wanted to talk through 3 ways ERGs help create a more inclusive workplace culture. I'm hopeful that this is something that will help you if you are looking for ways to really boost employee resource groups within your organization. Maybe there are still some leaders within your organization that have not fully grasped how powerful they can be. Well, they can be super powerful. So I do want to share 3 ways that we want to be thinking about why they are so powerful in creating an inclusive workplace culture. Let's start with number 1, which is that they can build cross-functional connections, which spark broader community ties and foster innovation. Think about this. How often are you or your colleagues kind of trapped in the silo of your team, spending a lot of time with the folks very closely tied to you and your work, but not necessarily getting a chance to meet and understand what other folks are doing on different teams? What we hear all the time is that workplace cultures benefit from cross-functional opportunities to meet and grow community across those different lines of experience within the workplace. And these employee resource groups are a great way to do that. You're growing ties based off of shared identity, and that shared identity is usually an identity outside of the workplace, right? So we want to be thinking about how these groups can go a long way to creating those cross-functional connections that everyone is seeking, and that also leads to broader innovation. There are, of course, so many ways that employee resource groups affect inclusive workplace cultures. This is just one, and I'm only going over 3, but let's move on to the next one. And I want you to keep in mind that this is, again, the tip of the iceberg. There's so many benefits to employee resource groups. The next one I want to talk about is how ERGs can play a role in new employee onboarding, setting the right foundation and providing a community early on. What we know is that a lot of organizations will leverage their ERGs to welcome new employees. And this is a best practice in setting the tone early on around how inclusive the workplace culture is, giving people an opportunity to feel connected to community early on, very quickly, very readily when they first start. This is something that there was a McKinsey research report around employee resource groups that found that 90% of employees or employers that have employee resource groups leverage their employee resource groups this way. And it's something that a lot of people point to when they say, I feel like my workplace culture is one where my identity is supported and included and brought in. And so this is something that if you aren't already leveraging your employee resource groups to help with onboarding, I tell you, you're missing out. So, and if you feel that your employee resource group is not getting the kind of support that it needs, this is another thing that you can share with leaders to say that this is something you're seeing other organizations do, and it can go a long way to, again, setting the tone for those new employees who are coming through the door. Let's go with another reason why these employee resource groups can be really powerful in creating a more inclusive workplace culture. We know that ERGs increase the visibility of groups with common identities, and just even having more visibility of different identities, whatever they may be, whether they be some of the more visible ones that people think of when they think of employee resource groups, like gender or race, ethnicity, or they be maybe identity experiences that are less visible, like parenthood or caregiving, or LGBTQ plus connection to the community. Whatever the case may be, having these groups and the events and the activities that come along with them makes the workplace feel more powerful because of its connection to building this visibility and ensuring that everyone recognizes that this workplace values what you bring to the table. And so again, if you need help advocating within your organization for more support for your ERGs or to start ERGs in the first place, I hope these 3 points are helpful. Let's go through them one more time. So we have here the first one, that ERGs can help build cross-functional connections, sparking broader community ties, fostering innovation. We know that they can also play a role in new employee onboarding, setting the right foundation and providing a community early on. And lastly, they increase the visibility of groups with common identities, making a workplace feel more diverse and more open to diverse perspectives. This also can support people's sense of psychological safety within the workplace because it makes them feel safe to share their perspective, knowing that perspectives are visibly supported and heard within your organization. Now, I have spoken about how we have tons of resources related to employee resource groups. That is a fact. We have webinars that support the topic of employee resource groups. You can check those out at our website at cnetwork.com. We also have several programs that are related to supporting employee sense of inclusion and belonging. One that I really want to highlight is our Circle program. These are monthly sessions that are expertly facilitated by CNetwork facilitators over 6 or 12 months. Often we'll see that these programs are programs that are offered in conjunction with employee resource groups to support specific groups within a workforce. So for example, we can do circles across any team with any group of folks, but we can also do circles, these community building experiences, in conjunction with an employee resource group by perhaps having women come together in these monthly sessions and feel supported. The point of these sessions is to build professional development, to create a sense of that inclusion and belonging by increasing vulnerability through the kinds of topics we discuss and encouraging retention and employee engagement. If something like this is of interest to you, you can learn more about it at cnetwork.com/circles. We have, like I said, lots of experience helping organizations feel more inclusive. And this is just one of the ways that we've seen really, really supercharge that sense with these small circles. Learn more about it there. Additionally, I did mention that we have so many resources that you can dig into. Remember, you can always set up time with us to learn more about CNetwork and some of the things that we offer. You can do that through a consultation, cnetwork.com/consultation. And you can also follow us on social media. We are on Instagram. We are on YouTube. We're here on LinkedIn and here on YouTube. These videos are posted on both. And you can follow our newsletter, which includes weekly summaries and weekly reflections from me related to how we're thinking about supporting inclusive environments within workplaces. Thank you so much. We're at 9 minutes, so we're good under 10. I'll see you next week for another Weekly Wisdom then. Thanks, everyone.